I don't think anybody tells the truth about this debate right here. There's a debate about the chatterbait versus the spinnerbait. Which one is better? I saw this clip on Instagram just a few days ago. I'm pretty sure this conversation, this debate, I've lost a couple of friends and buddies in my fishing circle over talking about this. I'm curious to hear what you think about it.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say it on the podcast right here. Spinnerbait's better than a chatterbait any day of the week. I'll outfish anybody with a double. I'm with you. Double willow leaf.
Okay, I don't know my guy's name right here, but I rock with him on this. I'm a spinnerbait guy. I feel like spinnerbait fishing is kind of like an art. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. But before I even go into telling you why I choose the spinnerbait, I want to be really clear on something here. I love fishing the chatterbait. I've caught a lot of fish on a chatterbait. I've actually won quite a bit of money using a chatterbait. It's probably one of my favorite lures to throw. Okay, so the conversation is about choosing one versus the other. And I'll tell you, if I'm choosing one versus the other, I'm gonna choose the spinnerbait over the chatterbait, and this is the reason why. So with the spinnerbait is weedless. I can roll that thing across a laydown, I can roll it around grass, whatever, especially like pads, and it does not snag up. Try to roll a chatterbait across a laydown. Let me know if you can do that without saying some bad words. It just doesn't seem to work that good. But I like the spinnerbait because it's weedless. The other thing for me is that, like, the spinnerbait just seems like it's got more range. I can catch schooling fish with a chatterbait. I can take it to the saltwater. I can catch fish with it. I can take it up north and catch pike, because the scenario is like choosing one or the other. So I'm guessing like the apocalypse has happened and all the baits in the world are out. I guess it'd be sort of like how it was during COVID. You can only get a certain amount of baits. They're out of chatterbaits and you have to pick one. Or they only have chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and you had to choose one. It'd be the spinnerbait. You take it spinnerbait up north, you can catch everything up north with it. So here at home, I'll use a spinnerbait a lot of times to find like the shad spawn or herring spawn, because when you're reeling it back, the flash with the spinnerbait, the herring will bump up against it and try to spawn with the spinnerbait. So it'll help you find bait. And if you find bait, you can find fish. I don't really get that with chatterbait. Spinnerbait's just slept on. A spinnerbait is a work of art. Now, I don't think there's any other bait on the market that has as many components. Look at how many things is on a spinnerbait. You got blades, swivels, beads, spacers, wires, a head, a skirt, a hook, a keeper. And then we have the nerve to add more stuff to it. You add a trailer to it. You may add a trailer hook. Sometimes I'll double up the skirts on it to give it more bulk. So there's like this hidden art to fishing a spinnerbait that I just really appreciate. It takes a lot of skill to understand the bait, to get one to run the way you want it to run. I think it's a skill that has kind of fell by the wayside. So I just have this appreciation for the bait just because it's not straightforward. It's not, I don't want to say complicated, but it has a lot of layers to it. The colors, the color blades, the shapes of different blades, the wire, what type of wire, how big, how thick, how small, how short, how long. All these kind of elements to it, it makes the bait behave differently. So I just have this appreciation for a spinnerbait and all the work that goes into it. It's almost like swim bait culture of the 80s and 90s. You know how now we have swim bait culture where they put a lot of work into these glide baits and they make them really pretty and they put a lot of work into them. It's a culture. In the 80s and 90s, we didn't really have that, at least in the South. The culture was around the spinnerbait. This is the part where I don't think people are really telling the truth about the chatterbait versus the spinnerbait. They're really not the same product. Just because a chatterbait has a blade doesn't mean it's in the same category as a spinnerbait. They don't behave the same way. You don't throw them in the same places. Just a completely different product than a spinnerbait. A chatterbait, I feel like a better comparison, a better versus, a better either or would be a chatterbait or a jig. But that's just my personal opinion. And if I was gonna pick one of the two, I would definitely pick a chatterbait over a jig. And this is why. For whatever reason, the chatterbait, the way it moves water, the vibration that it has, and I guess the sound that it has too, it just draws fish in. And then not only does it just draw fish in, it draws in a lot of big fish. I guess, I don't know if it's the sound. I don't know if the vibration in the water that it puts off is a lot like brim or whatever bass eat the most of. But it seems that the vibration that it has and the way it moves just catches really big fish. Second reason I like a chatterbait is I can cover a lot of water with it. You can give me a 10-acre grass flat and I can tie this chatterbait on and I can cover that entire grass flat in, I don't know, the matter of a couple hours, maybe even just 8 hours. But it's the ultimate bait for fishing grass. If there's a lake that has grass in it, I can guarantee you somewhere on that lake there is a way to catch a bass on a chatterbait. I don't know why they like it in grass so much, but I don't think I've ever seen a tournament with grass in it with a chatterbait. If it wasn't the winner or top 10, it's always a player. Probably last thing I would say about the chatterbait is, and this really has nothing to do with the bait, why I would pick it over a jig, is just flat out confidence. I got a lot of confidence in the old chatterbait. It's caught me a lot of fish over the years. I mean, it really has. It's just you can make it do a lot of different things by just changing the trailer on it. You can skip it really well. So if like you like to fish docks or something, that's good to fish it around docks. Chatterbait's a good bait. I would say is in the last 30 years, the chatterbait really and truly is about the only new category of baits that's been opened up. There's really been nothing. If you think about it, in the last 30 years, you can even go further than that, there hasn't been any new baits that come along to stick. There's been baits that come by as trends and then they just go away in a year or two. This has been the only bait in 30 years to hit the market and stick for any length of time. So I think that's saying a lot. But I still say if the debate is about a chatterbait versus a spinnerbait and I only got to choose one, your boy is still gonna choose the spinnerbait. But I still don't think it's the best product to compare apples to apples. The jig versus the chatterbait is the better comparison apples to apples if you ask me. Let me know what you think about that.